Hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Got myself some water, because my throat is already feeling it. Remember to hydrate, everybody. Alright, so the evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. And if you did not watch the last part, it's this photo, which I meant to show you why. What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe these photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at the scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, rookie. What are you trying to say? To convenience this poor lady any further would really be inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. Oh, she's worried. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusual shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. That's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in the photograph that explains the reason the victims burn? Well, it's clearly this ox shape right here on the hot plate. The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the beefsteak was served on. The plate? Excellency, are you right? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of Le Carnaval. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Alright, then we gotta show how this all connects. But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some unrelated time. Oh, wouldn't that mean her handbag thing was unrelated? But, well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Uchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurants. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnaval, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! Well, he's both.
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day or any day before. That's right. The strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond carelessness, I think, Counsel. That the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Oichi? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? Well, it's because he was already dead! I almost don't believe Ryunosuke. Do you think? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was asleep. Yes, he was already asleep. He was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already? Dead? So that means the gunshot wasn't the killing wound, was it? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! He was poisoned! Order, please! Can you explain this absurd notion at once? The victim was killed by a gunshot! That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student. But clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Oichi. It's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered the burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from the witness again. If it's true, as we now believe that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible! We certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagements. But Your Excellency, the justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubts must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgments. Thank you, Your Excellency. She gonna say something? She just grinned. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Okay, now she's speaking fluent. Especially if it helps relationships between my country and yours. So she knows Japanese! Ah, Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. I mean, yeah. But then, why hasn't she been speaking through the interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Wow! But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well. You are the epitome of the true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this. This lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. Bow. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Okay, now we're actually gonna hear her own words. I'm pretty sure Hosonaga doesn't have to be there anymore. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glass in a toast. As far as I heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshots. If there was some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick it up on it anyways. I mean, she's kind of saying that there is another way. The most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems like very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May the irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. She sounds like we're done here, but we're not. Was that a prayer then? Was she praying that we have something terrible happen to us? Well, you have to you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I mean, I wish they showed him he had a better face when he said that. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination of this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with your cross-examination. Alright, we might have to press her on something, because there's nothing completely obvious straight off. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burns his wrist like that. I mean, I feel like he would have, but let's press her on that. But his hands was on a steering plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You could not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unslightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You cannot have noticed, can you? Oh. Has it actually been open? How can you see below my waist here? Oh, what fun. You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. As her friend, you've embarrassed me as well. As yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can. Oh, that's not helping you, Aiichi. Well, I can't. Anyway. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly, as you say, sir. Although, Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. I have enough English to understand that, at least, for the benefit of others in court. It means bless you. Sure it does. I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem reports show no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body, it indicated some other cause of death. It can only have been the bullet from your gun that put the end to this innocent man's life. But it doesn't make any sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to burn like that. And if the victims burned his wrist on the hot plate as soon as they were brought out to the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection!
And yet the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, that is complete waste of time. We gotta find out a way. I concur, Prosecutor Uchi is right. Alright, let's continue on. What's the next one? If there is some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me now. I mean, do we have anything specific? Yeah, it has to do something with this glass here. So we have his record, medical records. What does it state again? Can we review it real quick? The entry for the day, Professor Cued. Extraction with the use of anesthetic. Extraction, so he had a tooth out. Yeah, it sounds like just boiling with loss, like was decayed root removed. Laughing gas. Blah blah blah. It's impossible to imagine not being able to feel pain though. There's a cautionary note on the end of whoever wrote it. Oh wait. He's still under the effects of the anesthesia. Let's go back. As far as I've heard, post-mortem was a possible death. When the waiter brought my steak, the person had a glass of toast out. Rochi had no idea when the poor man broke his wrist like that. I mean, where can I fit that in? When the waiter brought my steak, the person and I have raised our glass to a toast. As far as I heard, post-mortem. Is there some other way? Please do show me. But of course the country's blah blah blah. Let's just press on the matter and see if we can get something pulled out of her. Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces of the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I've said, I've always aimed for flawless investigation. Be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true, but maybe there's something other than the way of killing that doesn't leave a mark. If heaven forbids you doubted me again, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone exactly how exactly think the professor lost his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls flat, doesn't it? Oh no, bears the thought, calling such a sweet young lady innocent into questions. On my honor, I, Takasuchi Auchi, will cut down any who dares cast such aspirations. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. Of course, it's country blah blah. Let's see what she says on this anyways.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the land of the great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. The carnival is open for business as usual today, just day after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if investigation takes different direction, final evidence may be lost. Oh no, he's having a little panic attack. Does that ever occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene? I'm trying to be as tactful about it as I can, you understand? Killer blow, the lady's a footballer. Shut up! Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Uchi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. Now, there was a moment before when something didn't quite seem right. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue elsewhere to help us find a clink in her a chink in her armor. Kazuma? What, Ryunosuke? There was one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga, the detective. Yes, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If I might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so. But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma is thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on the last statement again. Okay, let's go press her on the last statement then.
Yes!
Alright. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the land of Great Britain, blah blah blah. In this country, as with, isn't that so? Quite right, look, Carnival's open as business. Exactly, which oh, there you go. He's reacting to it somehow. Does he want to say something? Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as an interpreter. But things are different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him. He's lost his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thoughts. Sorry, pursue? What is this now? I'll explain how to do it, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. Marker? Oh, there. At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. Oh, we can switch between the two. Moving the marker left and right. And then pursue with them. Okay, I get it now. That's interesting. So we're definitely gonna have more people on the stand. And we have to push a certain person. Exactly, which means... can I look around? Oh, there you go. Now I can do it. Pursue!
Excuse me!
Ugh! What the? What's the meaning of this? Oh, poor guy. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
Objection!
What's the meaning of this? Oops. Accidentally just punched my microphone stand. It's the delightful woman, English woman, who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. Huh? The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. Oh, she doesn't want him to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Isn't that altering the crime scene? A crime scene thief. Well, it looks like the lady remark touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Oh. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day of question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago. 3 days ago? Oh wait, is that when it was opened? But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle, I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. Okay, you're obviously not gonna live when that time comes. I can't say I condone the witness's action, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass of water as evidence. Miss Brett? Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel. You may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fever. Alright, let me look at that bottle that we got now. Let's not accidentally present. What is this bottle? The label's written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it says it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Let's see, is there anything specific on this bottle? I don't see anything specific coming from this bottle. Well, here's something here now. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I think I'll just have a sip to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. But one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in the water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked out a certain possibility. Okay, yeah. Okay, so like I suggested, it was probably something in this water. Show other possible cause of death. Without leaving a trace, please do show me. I will show you this bottle.
Yes!
Ooh, it's all quiet. You know you got something right when the music stops and it's all quiet. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there was one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was a poison inside? Oh, she's not looking at us. Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip of his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink, there's only person There's only one person who could possibly have done it. I think they're missing a word there. Giselle Brett, it was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrape of evidence. You little rookie imbecile, have you considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even vaguest inkling that the rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may, I will listen to you forever, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Oh, yeah, there you go. Shut up. It's you who should be silent. Of course, of course. Dear lady. Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. Sorry, my lady, to what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We couldn't find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. Oh my gosh, one thing after the other. No, no! I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. Alright, guys. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop this part here. Oh, there's probably not much left, but we don't know. I don't know. It's just one thing, one twist after the other. Classic Ace Attorney. Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, remember to like, comment, share, or subscribe. And until then, I will see you all later. Goodbye.